Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Jaden, and today we're talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 3, Choose to Live. Before we get into it, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, I really want to keep making these videos and build this channel, but if you want to see more videos from Star Trek or Picard or eventually the Orville, that's what I'm going to do. So just hit the subscribe button and, drop in. Past this point, obviously, we're talking spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, pause it and come back, or strap right in. I do want to note that I personally really like creating these videos like this now. I learned a new skill, so we're gonna try this out for a little bit. Think of it more as like a podcast for one, because that's kind of what this is today. But yeah, in the era of like a no recap, react, review situation, here are like my top moments of the episode. Getting straight into it, like I said, again, spoilers. Really, it's the conversation on this episode, if you didn't know, was essentially, hey, let us slow everything down and let's back it up real quick and just let's tell a story. And with Choose to Live, that's exactly what we're getting. I would say one of my top moments was Dr. Burnham returning with Qowat Milat. I find them interesting. I don't really know why I really find them interesting, but I think it's because they just are. They're just really interesting. There's something also I think that is exclusively geared towards like newer Trek in the first place, and so it's nice to see them paying off on tropes that were created in order to really service this new series and new set of Trek shows. And I really enjoy seeing Dr. Burnham whenever she's on the screen. It's remarkable how much Dr. Burnham and Burnham actually look very, very alike. It's wild to me, but I really do appreciate having them on screen, because last time we saw Dr. Burnham, I believe it was Unification 3, and it was really just a conversation of everybody being like, hey, let us really call out the hubris that Burnham is really having right now. And it was actually probably also one of the best episodes where Burnham really had to come face to face with her actions. Now, did she learn from the episode? I'm going to be honest. No, it didn't seem like she really did. But it is interesting to watch as a whole. It was a good episode for a continuation of a TNG era episode. This one, we really got to see Dr. Burnham fighting. We got to see her being absolute candor. And it just, something about her performance, especially within this episode, really reminiscent of like this type of acting that I really just enjoy, that you really only get from certain actresses. Primarily, I'm talking about like the Angela Bassett's of the world, or the... not me forgetting her name. Oh my God, I forgot her name. Loretta Devine. That's who I was thinking of. These are the types of acting chops that I'm really getting from the actress who plays Dr. Burnham, and it's just absolutely, I don't know, it's just really nice to have her on the screen. And it's also, like I said, having a good opportunity to really showcase the parent daughter relationship between Burnham and Dr. Burnham. My next moment that I'm really proud of is Gray really getting his body. So, like I said, this episode really was just like plopped in here with a little subplot of let's go deal with some of our cliffhangers, and then we'll get back to the show. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It has felt like, this is really a B story of the entirety of the series so far, season this far, because Gray has really just been there in the background, and we're just talking about Gray getting his own body, all that jazz. Cool. Now Gray has his own body. On one hand, I'm happy the fact that like nothing really terrible happened with Gray really corporealizing into this new synthetic body. I don't really have a problem with that. I guess what I'm really questioning is like, how do we tie this back in? How do we make this more interesting, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like it seems like the writers really took an opportunity to tell a more down-to-earth, human-esque story instead of something grandiose and space opera-y. So on one hand, I'm happy the fact of having such a conversation on like realization and the trans identity and all the little types of like metaphors and analogies you can easily tack onto these types of scenes. But at the same time, I'm just like, I thought something else was going to happen, but nothing was fine. Nothing happened. So like, that is pretty much the scene. So good for Gray. I can't wait to see exactly what he's going to do on the ship. What does it mean for Hugh also to be basically, at this point, the chief medical officer and the counselor of the ship? That's more what I really want to know. Like, why is this man doing all this? Got working two jobs, honestly three, because, he's a parent. at this point. Next moment that I'm really proud of really seeing this is I really love whenever we can see Vulcan. It's like such a weird planet. So seeing Navarre, basically Vulcan, and the desert landscapes, it's just really pretty and it's really rendered really well. And seeing the Navarre Science Council, obviously it's very different than like former times when we've seen the Science Council with them being like high up and snooty and looking down on people. It seems like the Navarrans have really grown in their time since the older series, and they still kind of haven't, because they're just out here meditating in peace, trying to figure out the solutions. I don't really think anything really was to come up of this, except for the fact of like that Stamets' initial idea of this being a dark matter anomaly or a DMA just not being proven right. And that's fine. I don't think this episode was really to focus on those sciencey things. I think it was really leading into like this next top moment that I had of the interaction between the Navarran president and Booker, and the interaction of the mind meld of Booker reliving one of the most traumatic experiences of his entire life. And he's really just been in the dumps for the past couple of weeks, ever since, his, whole family and planet died. But I mean, I think in this episode, we really saw that his big thing and what she was latching on to was the fact of like Leto, and Leto never ever getting to, through the bad blood, never really getting to experience his uncle, but also never getting to grow up. And so, he's just had these fleeting memories, and that's why he was seeing things the past couple of, basically just the last episode. And now we deal with, him realizing that Leto did look back. Leto did love him. And we know that was shown to us by the empathetic, aura thing that was on Leto's head. And I don't have anything else to say about that. It was just a really nice moment. But like, I don't really see this being a very long review. There was really nothing else to really talk about. This is really a very straightforward episode. It was okay. It really was just paying lip service to a lot of the subplots to get them out of the way. Oh, Tilly was also a big part of this episode, but she didn't really make any of my top moments because it was just Tilly doing Tilly, and Tilly being goofy and funny, which I appreciate the comedy. I appreciate comedy chops in the episode. But this is really just truly about choosing to live, whether it was finding a way to fight through grief, whether the Alborians were choosing to live after their planet's destruction and finding a new home, whether the Qowat Milat, Javini basically choosing to protect and choosing to help these Latinum-based Alborians like live, Tilly finding her new path, Gray getting his new body, Saru finding a way forward without us being on his planet and still trying to find the ways to root himself and ground himself in Kaminar. It's really just an episode of resilience. I really do appreciate these episodes, but I think with a Discovery, it's just so weird because a lot of the episodes with Discovery are so shoot 'em up, bang, bang. And yes, this one did have a bit of action, a couple action scenes, but at the end of the day, it didn't feel like it really served an ultimate purpose. It just served to literally just talk about everyone else and calm down the show for a little bit, which I don't know, after setting us up with this whole mystery of like the anomaly basically being able to move and stuff like that, you'd think we'd rush into it like previous seasons. So I don't know how I feel about this. I may end up changing my mind later on. The one other thing that I really did appreciate from this episode was Vance basically saying like, we're currently an orchestra where Rillick is the conductor. Burnham, you're the first chair violinist. And I am, as Vance said, I'm basically the percussion trying to keep the pace. And it was something really interesting to listen to because that's true. At the end of the day, like, you just have to hope and care about your stuff. You can't sit there and worry about, whether the cellist is drunk. It was a very long analogy, but it was really beautiful. So, but yeah, no, I don't know. If you had some feelings about this episode, let me know because it was a good episode. It just was what it was. Very straightforward. But yeah, if you want to talk about it, leave a comment below, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But yeah, I'm going to talk to y'all next week. Well, since we're getting this out late, by the end of this week. Bye.